Hello and welcome to Moessieurs. Today we're going to talk about a topic for that I've seen online questions about how to load XS, XF, and MoXF files into the MODX M synthesizer. It will work the same way with the Montage M and ESP as well. How to load these files, how do they differ from Montage, MODX, and MODX Plus files? That's today's topic. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to do not miss my incoming videos. Click on like if you like the content, and click on the boost to highlight this video in YouTube recommendations. How to load an XS or XF file, and how does it differ from a library file? I'll choose a Motif XF file. Let's go to Utility, then Content, and then Load. I've selected the library file type. The file to load here is an X3A file from the Motif XF. I want to load it into a library slot. When I click on it, a display appears, which is different from what happens with a library file. You can see that it didn't load directly. You have the choice of loading either the voices from the Motif XF file or the performances. You can't load both at the same time. Why? The Motif XF had an independent voice mode and an independent performance mode. There were for user voice banks of 128 sounds. The performance mode also has for banks of 128 sounds. To load everything into a single library slot, we need to have 8 banks of 128 sounds available. In the MODX M, Montage M, or ESP, the user and library banks have 5 banks of 128 sounds, so 640 performances available. It does not work, and it wouldn't work with an XS file either, which had 3 user voice banks and 3 user performance banks, 6 banks of 128 sounds. That's why we have to load either the voices or the performances. Which is the more interesting to load? The voices that will be loaded as single-part performances. The performances will be loaded as multi-part performances. I would say that it depends on your sound bank. If it's a sound bank with mostly piano, organ sounds, for example, that you want to integrate into your music production on the MODX M or Montage M, you don't necessarily need the performances with the programmed arrangements. In that case, I would advise you to load the voices instead. If on the other hand, it's a MOXF, Motif XS, or XF cover bank, where the most interesting is to have performances with multiple sounds, with splits, with layers, then I would recommend you to load the performances instead. In any case, all the voices used in the XS or XF performances will be loaded into the M series performances. Does it work in the same way in ESP for Montage M, and in MODX M ESP that's coming? ESP is hosting Cubase 15 Pro for that video. Let's go on the Load tab here. You can see that I have the same file. I choose Library File Type, selected the file, clicked on Load, and I have the same display. For exactly the same reasons, 5 banks of 128 performances available per library or user bank in ESP as well. That XF file is for banks for voices, for banks for performances, 8 banks of 128 sounds, it can't work. That's why we have either to choose voices or performances here too. If I click on Load, it would load immediately, of course. That concludes this video. I hope you understand why we need to do this choice, voices or performances, and how we can load this XS or XF files into the Montage M, the MODX M or ESP. That's video ending. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found the content interesting. Feel free to click on like, and I also invite you to click on the boost button to highlight this video in YouTube suggestions. As official Yamaha expert and specialist, if you want to learn more quickly how to use or take in hand your Montage M, MODX M, ESP, Camelot Pro, or any of the Yamaha synthesizers and stage keyboards that I use, or also Cubase MIDI and audio recording with them, you can request an online masterclass with me. You choose your session topic, and you can download your session video to watch it as many times as you need. If you are a Moessieurs YouTube community member, you will get 15 minutes extra time for each session. How to become a member? Just sign up on YouTube. It's a monthly subscription of €3, and you'll get more than just the 15 minutes extra time. You'll get to see all my videos in preview, without ads, almost 1 month in advance, as well as my private videos without ads too. Don't hesitate to join the Moessieurs YouTube community. See you soon for a new Moessieurs video.